This show is about your life, how to make it better, how to make more from it, how to love deeper, how to share it with others. This journey is about connection to your dreams, with topics centering on love, money, sexuality, and energy that unites it all. This show will change your life. For years, I've coached people in easy-to-learn skills and have seen incredible changes. I'm here to teach you those skills as a coach and hopefully a new friend. Hi, I'm Kyle. Come along with me as you move along your path of life success. Welcome to the Kyle Phoenix Show.
This is now part 2 of actually dealing with depression and what depression is and how it may manifest in ways in your life and ways to actually deal with it so that you deal with it and it doesn't deal with you ultimately. So part of what depression does is it saps your energy. You don't have the same drive to do the things that you may enjoy doing. You don't feel the same ambition. You don't feel the same desires. One of the reasons why I wanted to do a separate piece on just mental health information for things for you to think about, reflect on, even look at, does it relate to you, and then perhaps take it further to a professional if need be, is because a lot of people with alternative sexualities deal with mental health issues. Another interesting thing that I just saw on television was actually a report of how many mental health issues people don't have dealt with based upon how much money they may earn or may not earn. So this is a great way to get out the information of what certain things feel like, what certain things look like, and therefore how to deal with it. So when we get back to depression, we look at that it may change our moods, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about the things that we normally enjoy doing, the people we normally enjoy being around. And that's part of how it's difficult to identify depression at first because we just think we're changing our mood or not wanting to do something or wanting to rest or feeling tired or feeling more exhausted. When in fact, if you actually chart yourself or try to keep track of how long have you felt this way, you can get an accurate feeling or description or timeline of what depression feels like for you. You're looking at that you actually feel some form of depression or some light form of depression. It's completely normal to experience things. How do you get out of it? First, by understanding what it is, which we did previously and in the first video, and then secondly, that it's not impossible. It may feel like it's impossible to change the emotion that's occurring or the suppression of all of your emotions or the wet blanket that you feel like is over you. The very things that alleviate depression can change your mood are generally the things that are most difficult to do, such as exercising. And perhaps you can't start out with some amazing exercise regimen where you go 5 times a week, but you can start out with a short walk around the block. You can take a half a mile walk. You can take a quarter of a mile walk and reward yourself for doing that. 10 minutes of actual physical exercise, generally outside if you can, in the sunlight, can change your mood for 2 hours. So you want to take some time to really do something. Just go somewhere. Go to the store. But instead of going to the store closest to you, go to the store a little bit further away. That will give you some exercise and some emotional uplifting to change your mood. Also, what you can look at doing is make it a point, if you do it every day, to call someone. Call a friend or a family member or a loved one or a partner or a spouse and say, hey, how are you doing? And maybe just time yourself for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes. I'm going to do this. Make an appointment with yourself to actually call other people. Part of what happens sometimes in alternative sexualities, and what I've noticed in workshops I've done with gay men is there's a sense of isolation, or there's a sense of alienation. There's a sense of I don't belong, or I don't feel comfortable with these people, or these people don't completely understand me, or sometimes all of your friends may seem a little superficial. So part of what you want to do is you want to establish close relationships, look at, well, this may not be a perfect relationship, but this is perfectly good enough for this moment, to get me through this moment, to help me uplift. Not everybody will satisfy every need and every emotional desire that we have. Not a partner, not a husband, not a wife, not children, not family members. People will satisfy pieces of us. And we say, okay, you satisfy a really great piece over here, but you know something? I'm going to have to go find some other people that I might feel comfortable with to satisfy things over there. That's what's developing in a balanced emotional life. One of the things you can do, as we talked about, is cultivating supportive relationships, turning to a trusted loved one, perhaps going out with friends, even if you don't feel like it, especially if you don't feel like doing this. You want to get out some. You want to explore the world, make a weekly dinner date, make a lunch date, to meet someone and go somewhere. By having scheduled appointments in your life, this actually can help to uplift you. Also, one of the other things you can look at doing, as I've mentioned before, is there are community centers all over the world, because I know these videos are going all over the world. So there are community centers, there are organizations, there are groups. Drop in on a group. There may be a group that's specifically about mental health or depression or emotions. There may be one that's specifically about sexuality. There may be one specifically that's about issues around race, around gender, somewhere where you can connect. It doesn't have to be, again, perfect, but generally groups have some kind of weekly scheduled time where pretty much the same people show up. There's a new dynamic of people, there's a new dynamic of relationships, there's a new dynamic of topics going on. A group generally lasts for an hour or two, so get your mind kind of off of what you're doing and more focused onto what the group is kind of tackling that week. So it's a great way to get out of yourself. There's also anonymous groups like AA or NA. There's Debtors Anonymous, there's Overeaters Anonymous, there are all kinds of anonymous groups. If you feel that you perhaps dealt with some issues or looked at some issues or have some questions about issues, drop in on one of those groups. Really investigate being a part of kind of a community feeling, part of joining something, part of getting to know people, and make it your own little special thing. Just go to an AA meeting. It's not going to be anything where people are going to attack you or want to demand to know about your alcohol consumption or what. You can sit in the back and listen. And while you may discover that you are or are not an alcoholic, you may also discover some helpful tools for dealing with life.